Welcome ladies and gents, my name is Curci. Let's talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I'm sure I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos before, but Treyarch is my favorite developer when it comes to Call of Duty. I've always really liked the games that they put out. Black Ops 1 and 2 had really great campaigns, really great narrative. I've really enjoyed those two games. But also zombies. I've really enjoyed zombies in both of those games, more particularly with Black Ops 2. I remember playing a ton of it with Black Ops 2. And Black Ops 3, there's so much more to zombies. There's a lot to talk about. But as with a lot of my other videos, I like to talk about things as I experienced it. So when I started up Black Ops 3, I went straight for the campaign. I really liked how good the campaign actually was. I really enjoyed the cyber abilities, how there were different varieties with different abilities that you could use for different situations. You can hack into enemy robots, cause other robots to explode, cause people to lose control of their cybernetics and vomit. I should also point out that this game is in the year 2065. It's really well advanced into the future. So all the soldiers are now cyber soldiers, where they have cybernetic arms and legs, and they have a computer chip in their head. Not so much with the laser guns. I remember there were a lot of laser guns in Advanced Warfare, not so much with Black Ops 3. But the cyber abilities made the game feel more like a video game. I know that's kind of a weird statement, but it did feel more like a video game in a lot of ways. I also like that the cyber abilities helped make the game feel a lot more strategic. In certain situations, it was probably better to use certain cybernetic abilities. For example, if I ever saw an enemy with a riot shield, I would throw bees at him, and then that would cause him to put his shield to the side, and then I could shoot him. Which also brings up this whole idea of having a variety of different enemies that would cause you to use different strategies in order to overcome them. Some enemies will have armor. It may take a couple of extra bullets to bring them down. Then there are giant walking tanks where you gotta shoot at their armor before a weak spot is revealed, then you gotta fire a rocket at it. Even though I like the fact that Black Ops 3 is taking that step and using a different variety of enemies, I feel like it's not where it should be. The strategy to take them down, most of them, to take down an enemy soldier, or to take down a guy with armor, or to take down a robot, is all the same thing. You shoot at them until they fall down. Sometimes it may take a couple of extra bullets, but you shoot at them until they fall down. Whereas if you look at a game like Halo 5 Guardians in particular, they have the Promethean Knights. In order to take them down, you have to destroy their armor. And the weak spot of the armor is on their sides, to the left and to the right, and you have to shoot at those sides in order to take out the armor, and then you can kill them. Then you have Hunters. Hunters have certain weak spots in their armor. Basically, they have gaps, and you can shoot directly into them. Of course, you have the Grunts and the Elites, and those are all just shoot at them until they fall down. But then there are the Jackals, and the Jackals have those shields, but then they have that sort of inch in their shield, and you can shoot at that, which will cause them to throw their shield up. Then you can shoot them in the head. Even some of the older Halo games, there was the Covenant and there was the Flood, and taking on those two different enemies required two different strategies. It keeps you on your toes. It makes you think okay, I gotta be doing this instead of doing this because I'm in this situation, and I feel like I'm lacking that with Black Ops 3. Is the gameplay still good? Yes, it is a fun game to play. And of course, Black Ops 3 does what every other Call of Duty does, which is with the campaign, you just clear out room after room until you get to the next cutscene in the next level. People like to bring this up as a negative, and I think the reason why is because they remember Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the best Call of Duty game, and even after Black Ops 3, still the best Call of Duty game. Of course, it has those missions that are high action, and you're just basically clearing out room after room, but then you also have the ghillie suit mission, which is pretty much all about stealth. You're crawling in the grass, you're trying to hide from enemies, sometimes you snipe a couple of enemies where you can, then they get to a point where you're carrying your own partner on your back, and then eventually you have to start fighting back against the pursuing force. Yes, it's high action, but it changes the pace of the game. I feel like that mission was missing from Black Ops 3. But I will say, Black Ops 3, I think, is the darkest of all the games in terms of narrative. Once again, this is the year 2065, which means that we have cyber soldiers. These guys have computer chips in their brains, and we're also using robots as infantry units. I remember seeing the trailers for this game and thinking to myself, I wonder if they're going to tackle this whole idea of artificial intelligence like a lot of sci-fis do. In Terminator, you have Skynet. In Mass Effect, you have the Geth. What happens when you have AI, and what happens when that AI goes rogue? And Black Ops 3 does kind of touch on that. It's not the forefront of the focus, but they do touch on it, and it is something that I expected from the game. It is something that I was satisfied with. But it's a very dark tale. What happens when the soldiers lose control of themselves? What happens when they start losing their minds? I'm not going to go too much more into it because I feel like you need to experience it, because it is a very good story. The only thing I didn't so much like about the story are the characters. I feel like I did like the characters, but I didn't have that connection that the game probably thought that I had, because there were big moments that happened in the game that weren't okay, yeah, it does have some of these building falling, you're flying in a jet and blowing things up, it does have that high action Call of Duty-esque moments, but then the big big moments, the ones that are supposed to be really hard hitting, are these slower character moments, and I feel like they lacked impact because I lack a connection. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just didn't have that connection. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the game as much as I probably should, which meant that when the big moments happened, the impact wasn't as much as it probably was intended to be. But the big thing about Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is its ending. It's literally its last line of dialogue is a giant twist in the game. I'm obviously not going to tell you what that twist is, but it does make you think. After you beat the campaign and the credits start rolling, you're sitting there and you're pondering, what just happened? What did I just experience? And you start playing things back in your head and you're trying to come up with your own theory, and then you go online and you see other people theorizing and they're debating. And this is the kind of thing that I like. I like it when people are debating as to the meaning about it, because it encourages this whole idea of replayability. You want to play the game a second time so that you can see things that you probably missed before. And even if you do play it a second time, you are going to notice things that you didn't notice before. It's along the same lines of the BioShock Infinite twist that happened. It's not on the same level. BioShock Infinite is really kind of mind-blowing. I'm not saying that Black Ops 3 is mind-blowing, but it is there, and it does make you play the game differently if you were to play it a second time. Or at least put you in a different mindset anyway. Not so much play the game differently, but it does put you in a different mindset. But people are discussing the game. They're talking about it, which means the word is getting out. And if that's happening, that's great for you. So overall, with the campaign, did I like it? Absolutely I did. I recognize that there are flaws with it, but I did like it a lot. Then it's the question of, is it better than Black Ops 2 story? And I don't know. The thing that I like about Black Ops 2 story is that I did connect with those characters, and when those moments did happen, those big impactful character moments, they did hit me. And also it had a better villain. Even though I think Black Ops 3 had a good villain, I think that Black Ops 2's villain was very much better. So maybe in the long run, I still think Black Ops 2 is the better story, even though Black Ops 3 is very good. I don't know, I might change my mind in a couple of weeks when I actually sit down and I actually really think about it. As of right now, I think maybe Black Ops 2 is the one that has the lead over which story is better. So let's go beyond the campaign. Let's start talking about the multiplayer itself. And I'll say this in the most simple way possible. The multiplayer is exactly what you would expect from it. The only difference is the specialists. So the specialists are characters that you can pick, and they each have 2 cyber abilities that you can use. You choose one, you go into a multiplayer match, and then as you get kills and score points, there's a meter that fills up, and then once it hits full, you can use that cyber ability. There's ground spikes, where you have these spikes that you just slam into the ground and it causes an area of effect which can kill people around you. You can have a bow and arrow, and the arrow is explosive. You can see people through walls. You can use a grenade launcher. There are a variety of different things that you can do. You can only pick one at a time, but there are different choices. Obviously, there are characters that you can unlock later that have different abilities, but overall, there is a variety of things that you can do. I always look at the cyber abilities with the multiplayer as the super abilities with Destiny, whereas you build up a meter over time by killing people and collecting points and blah 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 blah, but then you have this super ability that you can dish out when things get too hairy. So that's cool. I really like the cyber abilities about it. And there's also this new mechanic. Yes, they bring in the double jumping from Advanced Warfare. It feels a little bit different, but it's there. But you can also wall run. Here's where I start talking about the negative. Even though the multiplayer is everything that you would expect from it, it plays like a Call of Duty game for people that are terrible like me. You're going to die a lot and get not so many kills, but it is everything Call of Duty that you would expect. But I feel like the maps aren't as good as they probably could be, because this whole idea of double jumping and wall running, certain maps really support those 2 mechanics. Certain maps you have to double jump, certain maps you have to wall run in order to get the full experience of that map. Most of your other maps that might have some opportunities to wall run, that might have some opportunities to double jump, but don't really fully embrace it. I feel like it was a missed opportunity, because in Titanfall there were maps that were so perfectly designed. By running on this wall opened up a whole new path for me. I was flying across the map. But I feel like Call of Duty Black Ops 3 kind of hinders my ability to move more than it actually helps support it. And I thought that was a little bit of a big negative for me, because that's one of the things that pops out. If you're going to have wall running, you have double jumping, have maps that encourage it. Have maps that help me take advantage of those 2 mechanics. Have me play the game differently. But instead, it doesn't really do that. Certain maps, like I said, do really help support that, but other maps don't. I don't know, it was something that I noticed, and it was a thing that stuck out to me a lot. But then we go to zombies, and I really like zombies in this game, because I feel like it's everything that you expect, but now it's kicked it up a notch. I like that the game starts up, it does have some sort of narrative to it, but then as you go throughout and you explore the area and you unlock different areas of the map, you discover new secrets. There's always something new to discover. Like the other day, I played the game and I opened a portal. I didn't even know you could do that, but I found it and I went through this freaking portal. Probably to a different area of the map. I had to fight against different enemies. I didn't even realized that the game had a portal. The general idea of the game mode is that it's a horde mode. You fight off against zombies that get increasingly more difficult as the game progresses. Sometimes certain levels will spawn different types of enemies. Sometimes you get like these roly things that explode once they get up to you. Then you have like these bugs that fly. Sometimes you gotta fight against this giant boss-like creature. Different types of enemies for different situations. Now there is a mechanic in this game where you basically are cursed, or you, not really sure what it is, if like, you have the ability to take advantage of a curse or you are cursed. I don't really know. But you can transform into this monster, like this Cthulhu looking thing. But by being in that form, you see things that you wouldn't be able to see if you were in your human form. You're able to unlock certain doors, give power to certain things, and actually grapple to certain ledges to unlock different areas. It's always fun to play in that game mode and explore a lot more with the whole Cthulhu form and explore things with like, okay, where are the best weapons? Let me try to figure this out. The more you learn the map, the better you're going to be, the more effective you're going to be, because once you realize where the best weapons are, once you realize where little mystery pieces are, I've actually not really explored that too much. Basically, the point being is that there's so much more for me to explore with this game. But I really enjoy it. It's zombies, but there's more to it. There's more layers. The only thing that I was a little bit bummed out with is that I feel like there aren't a lot of maps. I'm not sure if there's any other map other than the one zombie map that we end up getting, but there's no like traditional horde mode. I forget what the game mode was called in Black Ops 2, but I remember just jumping into a lobby with 3 other people, and then they throw you into this sort of like closed off section of the map, and then you would just fight off against zombies. You were just in that area. Now, of course, they did have the other game mode in which you start in like a bus station, and then you can travel throughout the map, which is basically what the map we get in this game is, where like you explore and you discover new things, and then there are different enemies that you're gonna have to fight. But there is no just go into a lobby and fight against zombies mode, which was my favorite mode in Black Ops 2. There was a game mode that I wasn't expecting. It's called Nightmares, and basically it's rehashed campaign missions. It takes a mission from the campaign, throws it in front of you, fills it with zombies, and then takes out the audio from the first mission and adds in a new narration, giving it a whole new story. It basically gives you like an alternate reality version of what the campaign probably could have been. Even though it's the exact same mission, and objectively speaking, you're doing the exact same thing. You're clearing out room after room after room, but you're doing basically the same thing that you did in the campaign. And I was a little upset that they didn't explore different types of missions for this particular game mode, but I wasn't disappointed because it wasn't something that I expected. It wasn't something that I was promised I was going to get, and I didn't like the outcome. I actually really enjoyed it. I was really intrigued by the story, by the narration that was happening all the way through this mission. It was giving you a whole different perspective of what the world would look like if the zombies were to hit the Call of Duty universe. Like, narratively speaking, because even though we do get narrative in the traditional zombies mode, I feel like there is a sort of tongue-in-cheek to it, where it does have this sort of campiness to it. It was an intriguing mode. I was really interested in what was happening. So overall, Black Ops 3, its campaign, it's really good. The gameplay is great. I think that the game does maybe struggle a little bit with pacing. There was a little bit too much of that whole idea of clearing out room after room. But I thought the story was really good. I thought the narrative was really good. The theme that they went for was great. I did like the characters, although I did struggle to have a connection with them. The multiplayer is everything that you expect, although the maps are a little bit of a disappointment. I like what I got with zombies. I think I kind of want more, but I think that that's going to come with DLC, but I did like what I got. The general consensus, in my opinion, for Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is that it is exactly what you would expect from a Call of Duty game, with a couple of little surprises hidden within it. Whereas there was a certain game mode I didn't think I'd be interested in, but I was, or something else was a lot better than I actually expected it to be. I wouldn't go so far as to say Black Ops 3 is the best Call of Duty of all time. It is one of the better ones. It is one of the more enjoyable ones. And it also means that the Treyarch track record for me is still really positive. This is now the 3rd straight game that they've made that I've really enjoyed. Would I recommend Call of Duty Black Ops 3? I mean, sure, if you liked Black Ops 2 and you do like Call of Duty, why not pick this game up? There are some new things that you'll enjoy. I do like the zombies mode, although I think that it doesn't have the modes that I really loved in Black Ops 2. If you're a fan of Call of Duty, go get Call of Duty Black Ops 3. But if you're not a Call of Duty fan, you know, whatever. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.